Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
Okay, I want to try something a little different to kick things off today. If you're in a place where you can do this safely, definitely not if you're merging onto the highway right now. I want you to just for a second close your eyes and picture your mind. But instead of just, a brain or a cloud, imagine there's a heavy rusted iron chain wrapped tightly around it.
That is a visceral image to start with. You can almost feel the weight of it.
It is heavy.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. This chain, it isn't static.
Yeah.
Every single time you hesitate to say what you really mean because you're worried about how it will land.
Clink.
Clink. You forge another link, you walk into a room and you immediately scan faces just to see if you're allowed to be there.
Clink. Another one. Yeah, it's the accumulation of all those small moments, isn't it?
Totally.
It's not the big public speaking fears. It's, typing out a text, staring at it, editing it to sound more breezy.
And then deleting it anyway because you're worried it's too much.
Exactly. And before you know it, you're lugging around this massive invisible weight that just restricts everything. You're trapped.
Trapped in a prison that's built entirely out of other people's potential judgments. And that right there is the invisible chain we're talking about today.
And we are hopefully going to break it. We've got a fascinating stack of research and insights here, all from the Speak English with Rory materials. But as you've probably guessed, this isn't really a deep dive into grammar.
No, not at all. This is a deep dive into the psychology of self-censorship and the art of inner approval.
Right. And the mission today is very specific.
It is. We want to move from that frantic search for outside validation.
What the source material calls chasing gold stars.
Exactly. Chasing gold stars. We want to move from that to building a fortress of inner approval. And I have to say, going through these notes, this might be the most uncomfortable but necessary software update we've ever attempted.
Software update is actually the perfect way to put it, because when you really look at the root cause of why we care so much, it's not a personality flaw. It's not that you're just insecure. It's hard-coded biology.
This was the part in evolutionary context that really stopped me, because I think we tend to shame ourselves for caring, I'll sit there thinking, why am I obsessing over whether the barista thought my order was too complicated?
Right. Who cares?
But the research says my brain cares because it thinks I'm going to die.
And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, if we rewind the clock 50,000 years, we didn't survive on our own. We're pack animals. If you were rejected by the tribe, if you were cast out,
You didn't just have a bad weekend.
you died, you starved, or you were eaten.
So approval literally equaled survival.
Precisely. Your brain developed a hypersensitive threat detection system. It's constantly scanning for disapproval because, historically, that was the first step toward, death.
The problem is we're now living in a world of Uber Eats and heated apartments.
Exactly.
If I say something awkward at a party today, the tribe isn't going to leave me on a mountain to freeze. But my amygdala, that ancient part of the brain, it doesn't know that.
It's still firing the same red alert panic signals it would if a saber-toothed tiger was nearby.
So that's the mismatch. We're running Stone Age survival software in a modern world.
We don't need the tribe's approval to survive the night anymore. But that feeling of rejection, it's still processed by the brain in the same area that processes physical pain.
Oh, wow. That explains why it hurts so much.
It really does.
That explains the physical symptoms too, doesn't it? The tight chest, the sweating. It's a biological overreaction.
It is. So the goal here isn't to stop feeling human emotions. It's to update that software, to tell the brain, hey, I appreciate the warning, but we are not in danger.
We're trying to shift the baseline from I need approval to be safe to what?
To I want connection, but I am safe regardless of what they think.
Okay, so let's look at the code we need to rewrite.
Yeah.
One of the biggest glitches is how we process opinions. I think most of us treat opinions as like data points. If someone says, you're too loud, I file that away as a fact about me.
We treat them as objective truths. But the source material introduces this concept called the projection theory, and it completely dismantles that.
This theory is wild. It basically argues that what someone says about you is almost entirely about them.
Right. It's like they're a movie projector and you're just the screen.
That's a great way to put it. So let's use a concrete example. You're in a meeting, you're passionate, you're speaking quickly. Afterwards, a colleague says, you were really aggressive in there.
Oh, yeah.
My immediate reaction is shame. I just shrink. I add a link to the chain.
Of course. But projection theory asks you to just pause and look at the source. Why did they say that? Maybe that colleague is incredibly stressed and sleep deprived, so any high energy feels abrasive.
Or maybe they were raised in a house where a raised voice meant danger, so they're projecting that onto my excitement.
Or maybe they're insecure about their own contribution, and your passion made them feel inadequate. If that same colleague had just closed a huge deal, they might have said, "Wow, great energy, I loved the passion."
You're the constant in that equation. The variable is their internal state.
And that's the liberation of it. When you realize people are viewing you through the scratched up lenses of their own stuff, you stop taking it so personally. An opinion is just a confession of their mood, not a verdict on your character.
But even knowing that, we still try to clean their glasses for them, don't we? We try to shapeshift to fit whatever lens they're looking through.
The people-pleasing paradox. It's the exhaustion of being a chameleon. You try to be the quiet professional for one person, the fun party animal for your friends.
And the paradox, according to the notes, is when you try to please everyone, you please no one, especially not yourself.
Because you become a blur, you have no definition. And here's the hard truth. You cannot be liked by everyone. It's mathematically impossible. People want contradictory things.
So if I'm trying to be liked by everyone, I'm chasing a goal that literally cannot be achieved. It's a rigged game.
It is a rigged game, and the only way to win is to stop playing. You have to accept that some people just won't get you, and that's not a problem to be solved.
Okay, so that's the theory. Intellectually, I'm on board.
Yeah.
But we need the how. Because in the moment, when I feel that judgment, logic goes out the window. The sources gave 3 specific tools. Let's start with the inner shield.
This is about defense, but it's not a wall, it's more like a filter. The text describes it as using your purpose as a shield.
I love how practical this is. The idea that if you know why you're doing something, the criticism just loses its stickiness.
Okay, let's apply it. Say you're a manager, and your why is to build a transparent, honest team. You have to give some tough feedback. They might get angry, call you mean.
Right. Without the shield, I'd spiral. I'd think, oh no, they hate me. I'm a bad person.
But if you're holding that shield of purpose, you check in with yourself. You ask, my goal is transparency. Did I do that respectfully? Yes. Then the reaction, the anger, it just bounces off because your actions served your purpose.
It gives you a baseline. Instead of standing on the quicksand of their opinion, you're on the concrete of your own values.
Exactly. But to find that concrete, you need the second tool, the inner compass check-in. This is designed to break that physical habit of looking outward for approval.
I caught myself doing this yesterday. I tried on a jacket, came out of the dressing room, and I immediately looked at my friend's face to see if I liked it.
We all do it. We outsource our opinion before we've even formed one. The inner compass check-in is just a micropause. Before you look up, you look in. You ask, does this feel right to me?
It sounds so simple, but it's really hard to interrupt that reflex. It feels risky. What if I like it and they hate it?
And that's where the practice of celebrating small wins comes in. You have to retrain your brain's reward system.
Right.
If you wear that jacket because you like it and your friend makes a face, you have to mentally high-five yourself.
You have to actually say, I'm proud of me for honoring my own taste.
Yes. You replace the dopamine hit of their approval with the dopamine hit of your own. You are literally rewiring the pathways that used to seek out those gold stars.
Now, this leads us into what I think is the biggest hurdle for recovering people pleasers. Because sometimes people try to tackle you and put the chain back on. We need to talk about kind boundaries.
Boundaries. It's such a buzzword, but it carries so much guilt, doesn't it?
Right.
We're conditioned to believe that saying no is an act of aggression, that it's mean.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being difficult or that I'm letting people down. But the source material flips this completely. It argues that boundaries are actually the kindest thing you can do for a relationship.
Well, think about the alternative. If you don't set boundaries, if you say yes when you mean no, what happens?
You become resentful.
You show up, but you're tired and annoyed. You pick up the phone, but you're rolling your eyes. You start to secretly dislike the person you're trying so hard to please.
And resentment is the ultimate relationship killer. So a boundary protects the relationship from your own resentment.
Precisely. But the magic is in the delivery. The sources give these kind boundary scripts. And I think we should walk through why they work. Because usually we over-explain.
Oh, totally. I create an elaborate fiction. I can't come because my cat has a dentist appointment.
Right. We lie or we apologize like crazy. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. But all that does is signal that we should feel guilty. It invites them to negotiate.
So what's the fix?
Yeah.
Let's use the script for turning down an invitation. The text suggests, I appreciate the invitation, but I have to say no this time.
And notice what's missing.
The excuse. The because. It feels so naked. It feels rude to just stop talking.
It feels rude because you're waiting for them to give you permission to say no. But you don't need it. By keeping it simple, I appreciate it, but I won't be able to make it, you're modeling self-respect.
Okay, here's another one from the notes. This is crucial for close relationships. Let's say a friend is using you as an emotional dumping ground, calling every night, and you're just burnt out.
A very delicate one. The script suggests the sandwich method. You say, I care about you and I want to support you, but I'm feeling really drained right now and need some quiet time to recharge.
See, that lands differently. You start with, I care about you. You're not rejecting them, you're rejecting the timing.
And you're stating your need, I need quiet, as a fact, not a request. It's clear, it's kind, and it prevents you from snapping at them later out of exhaustion.
Okay, so we've got the shield, the compass, the boundaries. But there's a state of mind the sources describe as the ultimate goal. They call it the art of being unbothered, and they use this metaphor of the calm lake.
This visualization is for when chaos is swirling. Imagine your mind as a lake. When you're living for approval, your lake is shallow, it's turbulent, every little stone thrown in, a criticism, a weird look makes a huge splash, the mud gets stirred up.
But the goal of inner approval is to deepen the lake.
Right. When the lake is deep, those stones still hit the water. We're not saying you become a robot. The pebbles of judgment still cause ripples. But because the volume of water, your sense of self, is so deep, the ripples just fade almost instantly.
It's about resilience. How quickly you recover. So how do we deepen the lake? The notes mention a 3-breath rule.
This is a circuit breaker. You post something online, you get a nasty comment, your body wants to fight, adrenaline spikes, you want to throw a boulder back into their lake.
I want to type a furious paragraph in all caps.
That's the boulder. The 3-breath rule says, do nothing, just breathe. 1, 2, 3. It forces a pause between the trigger and the reaction. It gives your logical brain just enough time to come online and ask, does this actually matter?
And 99% of the time, the answer is no. But there's one thing that disturbs our lake more than anything, and it's something we do to ourselves. Comparing our lake to everyone else's.
The comparison trap. The sources are so clear on this. Stay in your own lane.
It's the classic social media problem. We're comparing our behind the scenes, our mess, our doubts
to everyone else's highlight reel.
It's a logical fallacy. You're comparing your unedited footage to their movie trailer.
But deeper than that, comparison implies we're all in the same race. And we're not.
That's a really good point. We assume life is a single track and I'm just behind someone else.
Which is absurd. You have different resources, different goals, different biology. Comparing your progress to someone else is like comparing an apple to a spaceship. They're not in the same category.
And if I'm running my race, but I'm constantly looking sideways at your lane.
You trip, you slow down. The only way to actually move forward is to have tunnel vision on your own path.
Okay, so we've built the systems, we're staying in our lane. But there's one final piece to this puzzle, and I think it's the most philosophical. It's about permission.
The permission shift. This is huge. Think about childhood. Your whole reality was governed by permission. You needed it to speak, to eat, to play. You waited for the green light from an adult.
And the tragedy is, we grow up, we pay taxes, but we're still waiting. We're waiting for someone to tell us it's okay to quit the job we hate, or to rest.
We're waiting for a green light from the universe. But the liberating truth of adulthood is that the light is never going to turn green on its own. You are the author.
If you want to go, you have to flip the switch yourself. But that's terrifying, isn't it? Because if I give myself the green light and I drive and I crash, that's on me.
It is. That's the price of freedom. So real connection can only happen when you drop the mask.
And if you start being yourself, setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and some people leave.
Let them go. You weren't connected to them anyway. You were connected to their expectations. Letting them go just makes space for the people who resonate with the real you.
That is a mic drop moment right there. It's scary, but it's the good kind of scary. So if we boil all this down, what's the one takeaway?
It comes down to the core mantra mentioned in the affirmation section. I am enough. My worth is not determined by others.
I am enough. Hey, it sounds like such a cliche, but when you look at it through the lens of this invisible chain,
it changes everything. If you are already enough, then approval isn't oxygen anymore. It's just icing. Yeah. It's nice to have, but you don't need it to survive.
It breaks the chain.
It dissolves it completely.
So here's the challenge for everyone listening. Tomorrow morning, you're going to have a choice. You can slip that heavy chain back on, scan the room for approval, and stay in that outdated program. Or
you can check your inner compass, take 3 breaths, say no kindly, and you can start living your life without waiting for permission.
I want to leave you with one last thought. Think about how much mental energy you spend worrying about what other people think. Just calculating, stressing, replaying conversations.
It's a massive energy drain.
Imagine if you got all of that energy back. Imagine what you could do with it, what you could create, or who you could love, or just how happy you could be.
That is the surplus energy of freedom. That's where the best parts of life happen.
You have the tools. You are the author. Stop waiting for the green light. Just live.
Just live.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.